This is Old White, and you won't believe this robber's magic-like skills." Madeline instantly lost her previous aggressive swagger, like a superhero whose powers just vanish. Who would have thought Old White's mission was to retrieve something so important, only to find out that the robbers treated it like a lucky charm, leaving Madeline to retreat in shame. But the moment she faced Fraser, she turned back into a face female. She wouldn't tell Fraser anything, like a secret agent, leaving him more puzzled by the bizarre case. That's when Fraser had his aha moment. Whether it was blasting the Albanian president's voice or asking for a plane, it was just the robbers stalling light buzz. This meant they definitely had a plan, so Fraser called the robbers again, hoping for some clarity in the circus. He told the robber boss the plane was ready to save the day, but he needed to see the hostages safe first before handing it over. Surprisingly, the robber agreed. Minutes later, Fraser bravely marched into the bank like a knight, and after a thorough pat-down from the robbers, was led to the hostage room. Under the moonlight, he saw dozens of hostages in identical clothes sitting against the wall, with a few disobedient ones gagged and bound. This only confirmed his instincts. If the robbers were really planning an escape, they wouldn't go through all this trouble. He gave the robber boss two options: surrender and leave with him, or be killed by SWAT. But the robber boss was well versed in police protocols. Unless there were casualties or threats, the police couldn't storm in. He was confident, to say the least. He confidently proclaimed head swagger out through the front door. Not today, though. Fraser left, feeling a bit outsmarted. But as they neared the stairs, Fraser pulled a surprise kick and tackled the robber boss down the second floor. Talk about an unexpected turn of events. Surprisingly, the boss wasn't even startled. He merely threw out some threats before his guys let Fraser go. Really. But clearly, they had other plans. The robber boss strolled into the storage room, demanding to know how long his crew needed to get ready. No pressure, right? Meanwhile, Fraser found the SWAT leader, saying robbers wouldn't kill. They just wanted the plane to stall for time, so he suggested sending in a rescue team. A great idea, right? As the buzz faded, the robber boss called, directing surveillance to the second floor. What a twist. Unexpectedly, they executed the first hostage, leaving Fraser furious. Why do this? The robber coolly remarked that this was the price for not hinting at providing a plane. However, Fraser simply didn't believe a word of his nonsense, which made Fraser completely lose all trust. Last time, command was fully handed over to the SWAT leader, but next, the big chief was taking over. He got the bank's floor plan and planned to initiate a full assault in 3 hours. Fraser was riled up, but dropped a comment that upset him. A remark from a patrol officer snapped Fraser back to reality, and he rushed back to the command vehicle to inspect the drawer where the robber relayed messages. Sure enough, he found a bug inside. No wonder they'd been led around like sheep. The assault was underway. Thanks to the eavesdropping, the robbers were already prepared to talk about being one step ahead. They then herded all the hostages out of the room, ditching their weapons to mingle. Classic move. Since everyone was decked out in the same attire, the police couldn't tell who was who. Now that's a stylish heist. All they could do was control everyone indiscriminately. Fraser searched the crowd intently, but couldn't spot the robber boss. Sneaky. They meticulously searched every corner, only to find the cash in the vault neatly stacked on shelves. How bizarre. What's more, even the weapons the robbers used were toys, and the killed hostage was just a prop. Things were getting seriously comical. This made the bank heist feel all the more bizarre. Finding the robber among the hostages was now the million-dollar mystery. But they wore blindfolds, constantly switched rooms by robbers. None of the 50 remembered the robbers' faces. Fraser printed hostage photos for identification. After 2 days of investigation, they still hadn't obtained even a single clue. Fraser believed they must have overlooked some details, but his boss, who had just given a report to the mayor, instructed him to close the case right away. What a letdown. But Fraser was not ready to give up. He meticulously checked the bank's safe usage records and finally spotted a lead. Detective skills activated. Madeline popped back up, demanding Fraser stop his investigation or he'd be in over his head though the drama. Fraser calmly responded, "Just keep doing your thing, and your job will be done." Surprising everyone, he recorded their entire exchange. Madeline was left speechless. "Who's there?" he wondered. "You know, there's a saying about the Baron Drosseth, and there's blood on the street." Madeline advised him to mind his own business. He had a lucrative future ahead, but Fraser still declined. He was determined to get to the bottom of things. Like Fraser feared, the bank heist that was supposed to have been closed by police was very much still on. Turns out the robbers were stalling to build a wall for their hideout. They shifted the storage shelves and constructed a new wall behind them and never saw them coming. Even if the boss hides behind a wall, tiny changes will go unnoticed. To avoid bank staff suspecting bathroom smells, they dug a deep pit. They went through all this trouble for the diamonds in old white safe. Those papers meant that even if you got the diamonds, there'd be no calling the cops. If anything went wrong, the papers were their safety net. The next day, police freed 4 robbers hidden among hostages. Finally receiving the info, the robber boss hurriedly crawled out from his hideout, then smoothly restored the barrier like a... Just then, his accomplice outside said Fraser was entering. He stayed remarkably calm. He swaggered right out of the storage room, casually bumped into Fraser at the door, and hopped into the getaway vehicle. Now that's a flawless heist.